How you doing, Dom?
Doing good. How are you, Mike?
I am doing good, and ready to do another one this week.
You know it. This week, we are talking about the science fiction movie Phase 4, put out in 1974 and directed by Saul Bass. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. Bass. So it's either Bass or Bass.
Yeah, I would
I'm
assume.
going I'm going with Bass.
Yeah, yeah, I would
The,
assume
the
so.
the movie starts out with some mysterious cosmic event. They don't really say what it is.
Yeah,
And as a result, ants become all different species of ants become a single hive mind and start displaying higher levels of intelligence and organization. This
as they will.
manifests this manifests in them attacking a town. We're kind of unclear about what happened to the town,
No,
but
no,
something happened to the town that caught the attention of the government that sends scientists out to study them.
right. And
And
I was gonna say, um, I wasn't sure because this is your pick, and I wasn't sure when you suggested it, um, what the movie was or if I had seen it. I did remember that I had seen before, but one of the reasons for my confusion is look behind me and look how many movies have been made about ants.
oh yeah, there's a shocking amount of movies about
Yeah,
ants. Like spiders, I get.
yeah,
You can do the sci-fi route, you can do the horror
sure,
route. Spiders are weird and creepy and scary.
yeah, yeah,
Ants,
yeah, yeah, yeah. But for some reason, and this isn't just all of the movies. This is some of the movies,
right? Yeah.
including the one that's to my side there with Suzanne Summers in the background.
I
She was in
actually
that one.
just watched that.
Did you? Yeah.
That movie Ants, I believe it was made for TV.
Yep.
It's on YouTube right now for free.
Nice. Nice. So a good tip for everyone watching. You can see that one. And that's actually a fairly entertaining movie for a TV movie. Um,
It
well,
was, it was for a TV movie.
yeah,
As long as you give that qualifier.
yes, yeah. Well, yes, for and I will definitely say that. Um, yeah, this one actually, I don't think the budget was huge with this one, phase four.
Yeah,
But
I couldn't track down the budget. I tried looking for that.
yeah, yeah, I assumed, especially where they mostly kept it to the one locale, and the set was pretty
Oh,
much.
they did not keep this to one locale.
Oh, really? Really?
So for the viewers at home, they may be interested in knowing that the movie itself is supposed to be set in Arizona,
Yeah, yeah.
but most of the indoor shots were done at a studio in England.
Huh, huh.
And
I seem to
let me
remember.
call this up.
Huh?
There's an overhead shot of the town.
Yeah.
The outdoor shots, Kenya.
Wow. Really?
Yeah,
Wow. Boy, it must
they
have been
knew
fun.
they knew that Kenya didn't really replicate the Arizona desert, but they
Yeah,
wanted to use a landscape that would heighten the feeling of isolation of this town.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I mean, I kind of I do remember hearing something about because I think it was an English studio actually that but I don't really other than the fact that I knew it had some type of English connection. I assumed it had been filmed probably Arizona, New Mexico, something like that. But yeah, that's
No, I was so fascinated when I found out it was filmed in Kenya.
yeah, that's wild. That really is. I mean, I don't know what time of year. I'm sure there's hotter and cooler times, but I'm sure if it was filmed at a hot time, my God, they especially wearing some of the
I know.
the protective suits. That would have been that would have been really hell to be. But yeah, there were some quirky things that were done in this too, because I mean, just the way the scientists approached their whole research and how they were
Mhm.
kind of crazy, you know. I mean, how they were doing it.
Overall, at the heart of it, this movie is it's a standard man versus nature,
Yeah,
or man has abused Mother Earth and now she's taking vengeance, or something like that. But it's really light on the narrative. Like
yeah,
the
yeah.
story is almost incidental.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's yeah, it's and they don't really totally. I mean, it's like yeah, there must have been some kind of chemical, some kind of you know, biological, you know, change to the atmosphere to cause the, you know, the all of a sudden this sudden you know, the ants are suddenly like organized and doing crazy stuff, building
They
these.
explain none of it.
No, no.
And I actually think it works to this film's advantage.
Yeah, yeah. And then the other thing is there's really basically three main characters uh,
Yep.
in the film, and that's kind of static. You see early on, you see the, you know, the parents of the girl that's in this movie, but they're gone pretty quickly after this happens, and
Yeah, these two poison these guys
yeah, yeah, it's
with like
so
absolutely no regard to, like, let's make sure the town is,
yeah,
or let's make sure there are no humans around
right.
before we spray this lethal
Well,
poison.
well, they did tell them to leave, but they didn't give them any time to leave. That was the other crazy. I mean, they were trying to leave. They had packed up their shit. They've got the girl in the car. It's, I guess, mother and father.
Yep.
That's not totally explained, but that's, and in the middle of this, all of a sudden comes this chemical spray that's just like, or whatever it was. And yeah, they're trying to get out and they end up dying.
The,
And
the, the poison itself, again, they use no descriptor other than hit it with the yellow.
yeah, exactly. It's, yeah,
So
I mean,
they don't specify anything.
yeah. And then they're surprised to see the two dead bodies on there. It's like,
Oh,
really?
what's this?
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, the whole thing was pretty crazy. And I mean, the fact that the girl actually even survives, and that's totally by chance. I mean, there she is kind of emerging, you know. So it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, she just survived by chance. And yeah, little thing on the this is Lynn Frederick, the
Mhm.
girl, and she was actually the wife of Peter Sellers.
Really?
His, yes, his last wife, and she was much younger. She was a, I mean, she's not quite as young as, I think she was supposed to be 16 in here, but she was not quite that young. I think she was probably in her early 20s when this was made. She looked young,
Yeah,
and
she was a really odd choice from what I
yeah,
read,
huh,
because she was in her early 20s, and she was known as a, I don't know about saying outright sex symbol, but definitely she was cast in films like Vampire Circus,
yes, yeah,
Voyage of the Damned,
yeah. Actually,
and
there's
yeah.
the English connection right there, because
Mhm.
yeah, she was working for like the Hammer Studios that did all the Peter. She was in a lot of the Peter Cushing
Mhm.
and you know, like the vampire kind of movies. But yeah,
So given that background, her acting background, during this movie, Saul Bass, the director, was overly concerned that she would look too old and too voluptuous. So he made her wear this really tight corset.
wow, I didn't know that. Wow,
He put her on a diet of
oh
like
my God,
coffee and chicken soup.
yeah, jeez,
And he always kept her character barefoot to accentuate the sense of youth and innocence he wanted
wow,
in her.
yeah,
Oh yeah, and he kept making her do her lines because he was worried she couldn't convincingly do an American accent.
Geez, I thought she was great at doing that.
And so
Uh,
with all that, I'm like, why did you hire her? Like,
yeah,
there had
yeah.
to be tons of young American women that you could have cast.
Well, she was strikingly beautiful. I mean, she was a really beautiful woman, and actually, tragically, you know, when Peter Sellers died, one little bit of trivia there is she, she inherited. He left all the money to her, um, and the I think Peter Sellers had two or three kids, but anyway, I one of them was Victoria Sellers, Britt Eklund's daughter, with Peter Sellers, and apparently the kids were like very hateful towards her because Sellers left her the entire estate, and it wasn't her fault. And I guess because Peter Sellers, being as popular a comedian as he was, the fans kind of turned on her. And yeah, she was almost like blacklisted. She couldn't get a job.
It makes no sense.
It doesn't, but that, you know, it was the studios were kind of afraid of her because all of a sudden it's like, wow, the fans hate her. Don't hire her. So she had plenty of money, but she kind of died like a recluse, you know, living by herself. And I think her death was fairly tragic. I don't know what the actual cause was. I think she took to drink and drugs, so I think that had something to do with it.
That'll do it.
But yeah, so
So
yeah,
this movie was my choice, and let me tell you why I
okay,
chose this movie.
yeah,
So the first time I saw this movie was, I don't know, I must have been like maybe 13, 14 on late night TV
okay,
in Southern Maine. So Southern Maine,
yeah,
back in this is what, the 80s, late
yeah,
70s, early 80s.
yeah.
Um,
Actually, 70's, I think. Yeah, the movie was
you don't
mixed.
have a whole lot of programming options.
Yeah.
And the movies they would show like at 1 a.m. were just bizarre. And
Oh
this
yeah.
this is just a fever dream of a movie.
Yeah, yeah,
And so teenage me was just entranced by it.
yeah,
It starts out a little like the original movie, The Andromeda Strain.
yeah, yeah,
You've got this sciencey aspect. Now I love science. You'll catch me with anything sciencey. Um, so it's got this. Oh, it must be the cosmic radiation, or they're doing this or that,
yeah,
and none of it's real science. Now that I'm watching it decades later,
yeah.
but to teenage me, it was immediately engaging,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
and then you have this um open-ended ending. Like the how this ends is really unclear.
oh yeah,
And
definitely.
and I took it to be this next level evolution of man combining with ant
Yeah.
to,
Well,
to create this ant man human hybrid.
it kind of was that. I mean, I mean, the whole thing's very strange with the whole thing's very strange with. I mean, the girl. It appears she had died. We think she died. She feeling guilt for the way things were happening. She walks out, kind of like,
I
you
don't
know,
know. She was talking with that ant. I think the ant convinced her.
yeah, to go out there, and then um, Michael Murphy's character, he finds he goes into a little pod area, and she's coming up out of the sand like this, and that was hysterical, and also like, wow, this is bizarre, and
And then
and
it
then
goes into this psychedelic
yeah,
montage.
yeah, and it was like the two of them were chosen to be the like
The Adam
inter
and Eve.
yeah, the Adam and Eve, the interbreed of the ants human. So it reminded me almost a little bit of, you just got me into the series Resident Alien, which I
Mm-hmm.
loved, and And I mean, the way
Yeah,
that,
shout out to for Resident Alien. If anyone's listening
oh my
and they're
God,
looking for a
yes.
TV show.
Yeah, you got me so into that show. I love it, and I'm really hoping that somehow there will be a season 4 because I've seen all 3 seasons now, and I love it. I love the way it ended. Who's the actor that plays the?
Alan Tudyk.
Yes, and shout out to him. He's so good,
Oh, I like him in everything I've seen him in.
dude. He is so funny. The guy is so damn funny, and he makes the show. I mean, there's been so many different that scene of him holding his alien baby, and
Mm-hmm.
that I actually was laughing out loud. I don't want to get too sidetracked, but just to say, yeah, shout out to that
You,
show.
you want to do a video, a dedication to Alan Tudyk? I'm there.
Oh yeah. Well, we will have to do some TV ones because there's some TV shows that we could easily say, yeah, they're as good as, reviewing a movie. So even though I mean, we call ourselves spoiler alert, we're about movies, but hey, there's some
Really, all
TV shows.
media. We read books, comic books.
True, true. And Resident Alien is based on a Dark Horse.
I believe it's a Dark Horse comic. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, thank you for telling me about that one because I was late to the party on that one, but I
Oh
really
man,
enjoyed
it
it.
was our favorite
Yeah.
show for like months.
Yeah. Well, I can see why. Believe me, once I started watching it, I was like totally into it.
Okay,
But
but let's get back
yeah. And
to the
actually,
Ant movie.
talking about trivia and things like that, the gentleman behind me is Michael Murphy, and I just have to tell a little personal story because
Huh.
because I met the dude. Um,
Neat.
yeah, this would have been back in the summer of either 92 or 93, or maybe it was closer to the fall, but it was either 92 or 93, and I think it was 93. Um, at the time, he was married to Wendy Crewson, who had not too long before that had wrapped up the movie The Good Son, and so we got a call because I used to do antique and fine art delivery, and it was just me and another guy doing it, and we had every once in a while we would get some celebrity that would call us and want something moved. So I can't remember who the connection was, but somebody asked us if we would move Michael Murphy and his wife Wendy, if we would move their stuff to California. So at the time, we were not. I mean, we never did go all the way to California, but we would go points west. And so we ended up hooking up with another outfit that we knew was a really good, careful outfit that moved mostly in the West. So we told him, yeah, we can do this. So he wanted our expertise in packing and being able to safely get the stuff. He had some good stuff. So anyway, we went in. His place was down in Kennebunk,
Huh.
and so yeah, we ended up meeting him. He was actually a really nice guy.
And that's Kennebuck, Maine, by the way.
Yes, Kennebunk, Maine, and the only town so named,
Yeah.
they proudly say. Uh, but yes, so we it was actually more towards Kennebunk Beach. I think they had rented a beach place. So anyway, we ended up spending quite a bit of time talking with the guy. He told us a lot of great movie stories. He was believe me, he had plenty of stories, and
And
his what?
I was unfamiliar with this guy. For those of you who don't automatically know Michael Murphy, he was also in Private Parts, the
Oh yeah,
Howard Stern
yeah,
movie. He was in White House Down, X-Men: The Last Stand.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's actually he's been in quite a few Woody Allen movies. This guy has made his mark, on films. He's kind of a character actor in a lot of ways, but he's been around and he's been in quite a few movies. But yeah, and I kind of like, I never like to like really like push for like asking somebody as a fan for an autograph or something like that. But I did end up getting the guy's autograph, which I don't know where it is. Something happened to it. But he was he goes, yeah, he goes, yeah, actually, he goes, you should get my wife's autograph. Wendy Crewson, he said she actually is doing better than I am right now. He said she
Huh.
just completed The Good Son. And so she had just had a baby. She was coming and going, but she was mostly staying upstairs with the baby. And I think she was actually kind of recovering. So, but like I said, very nice couple that they eventually split up. But again, just a little side note, but we had so much fun talking to him and listening to his stories. And he was, like I said, wonderful gentleman, and it was cool meeting him. So, like I said, that's all I really have on that, other than uh, he's a regular dude.
Now, one of the interesting things about this movie is that I already mentioned it's like man versus nature,
Yeah.
but it's a man versus movie nature that kind of sides with nature.
Oh yeah.
But like they do not present the scientists in an empathetic way in any
Oh
way. You actually
no,
don't really like the bearded guy.
no, no. Actually, he's a nut. I mean, he does a lot of, like, for one thing, Michael Murphy's character is trying to get him to make a phone call to get them out of there, and the the bearded dude there, he is telling him that he made the phone call and he didn't. And so he realizes later, yeah, this guy never even made the phone call. They were supposed to be calling in, I guess, a helicopter to evac them out of there, and it never happens. So he's ultimately responsible for his own death, and well, whatever happens with with the woman and Michael Murphy's character, he's ultimately responsible for everyone, whatever happened. But
Yeah,
yeah,
well, there he is at the
yeah,
end.
yeah, yeah, he didn't end up well. But he was right off his nut, right from the beginning. I don't know what the deal
It,
was.
it was odd. I don't know. Like he was supposedly in charge, but who puts a guy that he seemed mentally unstable? Like,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, he was totally unstable. Yeah, I mean, plus he was really prone to anger issues and everything else. So between everything, yeah, he was not a nice guy. But but yeah, like I said, it's an odd movie with it's a fun movie. I would say if people haven't seen it, definitely check it out. You probably will be quite amused by it in some areas, and you'll probably also be
yeah.
just
So you know
intrigued.
how I always try and put some sort of link in the comments just to give a deeper understanding.
Sure.
One of the links I'm going to put is this got the Mystery Science Fiction Theater 3000 treatment.
Nice, nice. I didn't
So
even realize that.
I wanted to watch the movie first, but I found the link. I'm going to watch the Mystery Science Fiction Theater version
Wow.
later on,
Yeah.
but I'm going to link it in the comments. So if anyone's curious, check it
Yeah.
out.
I will definitely, I'll be watching myself. So yeah, post that link.
So
For sure.
this scene behind me, this is supposedly an effect of the ants. It's some weird geometric pattern
Okay.
that the action of the ants created in this field. But film wise, film
So
history wise,
they were doing crop circle.
this is the first crop circle ever presented in
Wow.
a film,
Wow.
and
Okay.
it is somewhat credited with kicking off the hoax of people making crop
Yeah.
circles.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, it's one of those that actually is funny because in Resident Alien, at one point he makes a crop circle, which is pretty amusing. But yeah, there's been so many stories about the crop circles, and you know, you can say what you want. Whether, about UFOs and all that. I kind of have a mind of being one of the believers, but as far as things like crop circles, there's been so many people that have come out and said, I did it. I actually made the, so I don't, I really, I crop circles to me don't seem like a real viable thing. I think, it's a whole hoax thing. So, but yeah, like I said, there's always going to be, but yeah, that actually looks like the way it was laid down. It looks very similar to some of the early ones. And wow.
Yep.
So yeah, that would have been 74. And I don't think I've ever heard of a crop circle until probably much later. So wow,
Right. Right.
this could have been the
So,
inspiration.
so this is the only feature-length movie that
Yeah.
Saul Bass ever created.
Huh.
He is well known. You've seen his work before, but he originally came out of a graphic design background, and he got famous for designing the intro credits to television shows and movies.
Wow.
So he
Okay.
did the intro credits for Psycho,
Oh my God, really? Wow.
The Man with the Golden Arm.
Yeah. Yep.
I think North by Northwest. He I read some interviews, and he sort of revolutionized the way opening credits are done.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I had no idea. And those are some pretty heavy names right there. That, I mean, Man with the Golden Arm, Frank
Mhm.
Sinatra, and yeah, I mean,
I came across a short film that gives just a retrospective of what he did for opening credits. So I'm going to provide that link as well.
huh. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. I had no idea about that.
Oh,
Cool,
his
cool.
work in that was from this movie. I like it because it's just so darn weird.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
again, it is psychedelic
Yeah. Yeah.
in
It's
nature.
yeah. Some
But
of the scenes are just off the wall.
it's not Hall of Fame material. It's not like you need to see this movie before you die.
No.
But his artistry on those opening credits, just amazing.
Oh yeah. No, actually, um, even some of there was probably him with there's some of the little ant uh, mounds there. They're little creations, and those were weird and trippy too. I mean, it almost was reminding me a little bit of the obelisk in 2001 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Well,
um,
I mean, that was one of the neat ways they showed the ants' evolution, the ants' increase in intelligence, because where is it? Here it is. This is another of their creations. These little, so um, we're seeing a bit of the geodesic dome that the scientists were in
yeah,
right there. And then these things were these short pillars with reflective surfaces angled at just the right amount to reflect the sun and overheat the computers.
right, right, yeah, yeah. They were they were crafty little devils, and like I said, it's um, it's a funny movie because they sort of they sort of tell you about what's going on, and they also sort of leave a lot just up to conjecture. Your again, the way it ended, even as far as like, because they went out there spraying all that poison, and it only seemed to have actually made like some kind of a hybrid, which was which was actually even more intelligent. But yeah, the what they were making, and of course the scientists are just like blowing up, which is like, what are you trying to like really piss them off?
Yeah, I
Because
mean it's doing nothing,
yeah,
and it's not even gathering data. You're a freaking scientist.
yeah, yeah. So so yeah, they were trying. They seemed to be trying to figure out like, well, just what are they up to? And instead of studying that, they just decide like, oh, let's just blow their structures up and piss them off, you know. So like I said, they kind of like they made their own doom.
They really did.
You know, whatever was to happen. But and yes, and it's very ambiguous what happened, you know, at the end.
So I saw you've got this on Vudu,
Yeah,
which is where I saw it. I watched the
yeah.
movie on Vudu. The movie is the theatrical release, which is not the full movie.
Oh, really? Okay.
Prior to the release, it had the last 3 or 4 minutes edited away.
Huh.
And I kept reading a few people say,
So there's a director's cut out there somewhere.
it's you can understand it better if you see those extra minutes. And in I want to say 2012, might be 2017, but in 2012, 2017, that footage was found and included on some of the special edition Blu-ray.
Huh. Huh.
I tracked it down. You can find it on YouTube. It does not clarify anything.
Really? Really?
They were totally right to cut that off. It's just more psychedelic montage.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, it's funny too because a lot of times with movies, um, when you see director's cuts can sometimes they can really add like really neat footage
Mhm.
that you say, oh wow, okay, well now I know why they did this or that in the movie. But sometimes adding more is not, or leaving more in is not the best choice. A great example, if you ever look at, and this isn't a director's cut, but if you ever watch outtakes from American History X, if you ever watch the outtakes that are included, my God, the movie, there were so many bad scenes. There were so many scenes that you think to yourself, wow, thank God they cut that, because it would have been a low budget movie that everyone laughed at. And instead you had actually a fairly good movie. But it wouldn't have been had they left some of those scenes.
The more I watch movies, the more I pay attention to movies, the more respect I get for editors.
Oh my God, yeah.
And editors can make or break a movie, and I wish that they got more credit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, some directors will do a lot of help with the editing or do the editing themselves. But if you are not capable of doing that, or you don't have the skill, you better have a good editor, because if those guys aren't in there and they're not helping with the the final solution there ain't going to be good, and it's just going to be one of those ones that people laugh at, because yeah, it makes all the difference in the world. So absolutely, like I said, check out American History X, and check out the
Oh, that's such a brutal movie. I don't know if I want to subject
it's
myself to
pretty
that.
it's pretty brutal. It was a movie that I really liked when I watched it, but my God, it's kind of hard to. There's so many that just the teeth on the curb scene right there is like,
Yeah.
I've watched that scene because I've seen the movie probably twice, maybe three times, and it's like, man, I cringe every time, and I don't cringe much in movies.
If you choose that as one of your picks for the channel, I will watch it. But other than that,
Yeah,
I'm good.
yeah, yeah. As much as I liked the movie, it would definitely probably wouldn't be a quick choice. If I put it up, I'd put it up for some kind of reason, but on my list. But right now I can't think of one. So yeah, it's like I said, I enjoyed it. I like the movie. It's a good movie, but I don't really see that as one of my quick picks. But yeah.
Oh,
uh,
now that we're talking about movies, I wanted to mention to you, I heard a bit of movie news that I'm sure you'll be so excited about.
What's that?
Remember the movie Coherence?
Oh yeah.
It's
Yes.
getting a sequel.
Really?
I
Re-
don't know how they're going to do that.
Wow. Wow. Really? Huh. Well, yeah. Actually, that is kind of cool. But geez, that's crazy. Um,
I tweeted that out as soon as I heard it
yeah.
on
So
our
is it
Twitter.
being, is it in the works right now? Is it being filmed or is it just
It
being,
has just been greenlit.
wow. Okay.
I don't think anything other than, getting a cast together, getting a writer, things like, I don't think
Yeah.
anything much has happened.
Yeah. Well, again, it's, all I can say is, I'm intrigued, but, that's crazy. When you think
Mhm.
of all the different movies out there and which ones get greenlit and which ones do not, uh, that's that's kind of strange right there. But yeah, so yeah, with this one now we'll probably have to down the road we're probably gonna have to do another ant movie. Now that we've uh, it's either that or Night of the Lepus because that's another
Man,
one.
good luck tracking that one down.
Yeah, well, it's around.
I'm
Uh,
sure I'm sure it's around, and if
yeah.
we put our minds to it, I'm sure we could find it.
Yeah. And
But
talking about Mystery Science Theater, we almost are going to have to do one of the Mystery Science Theaters sometime just for the pure amusement of it.
I
But
don't know, that's going to be so meta. Us,
also,
a YouTube channel talking about a show that talks about movies.
yeah, why not? But I think that would be fun actually. So yeah, it would be. Uh,
Well, that's your pick.
well, I actually, if I did it, I probably would pick one of the really strange ones they did, which I can think of a couple right
You,
now.
you, you almost have to do Manos, Hands of Fate,
Yeah, oh, that one's so
regarded
good.
as one of the worst movies.
It's also one of the funniest Mystery Science Theater. It really is. There's a couple that are really funny, but that one is definitely on up there. Just the way the stuff they had Manos saying as he creeps along from room to room. I can't think of the name right now of the one with the caveman that was actually played by Jaws. It doesn't come to mind right now, but that one is hysterical, and it has the memorable line, "Sorry about my face," and so yeah, like I said, there's a number of good ones, and again, we're getting off track, but
We're losing the thread enough that I'm thinking maybe we've said all we have to say about phase four.
probably so, probably so. And again, I definitely enjoyed rewatching it. I had forgotten a lot of this movie. I didn't remember it until I was about a third of the way in. So the fact
It,
that
it it's a personal favorite of mine, but
yeah,
only because of it brings back nostalgic childhood memories of getting up to stay up past my bedtime
oh yeah. Well,
and watch this crazy thing.
yeah, but something though that I think that's one of the things with a lot of movies, and a lot of movies that are like this. They, I just have these fun memories of certain movies that yeah they totally make me feel nostalgic for being a young movie watcher, a young movie fan, and seeing a movie that suddenly it's 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 like wow, I remember staying up with my whole family and seeing this film. It's crazy, but the Saturday nights, the Friday nights, late night, and that's another thing. Experiencing movies, uh, people our age, that nowadays, I don't think kids get the same experience because there is so much to choose from. So whether you're watching cable or whether you're just putting a movie on, whether it's a rental or something you own, you don't get that same thing of back then it was somebody looking through a TV guide and saying, "Oh my God, they're replaying Psycho tonight," and you didn't have it on disc, you didn't have it on, you know, whatever the medium was, or the ability just to rent it or buy it. So you were completely at the hands of whoever was doing the scheduling on like three channels plus some UHF ones. And
And that being said, I refuse to go back.
yeah, oh
I,
yeah,
I love on demand.
I do too. And again, there is a different experience that we grew up with, and there was a charm about all of that. But I would never give up. I would never give up my widescreen TV, the correct aspect ratios that you get now, the better sound. It's when you add it all up, as much as I can wax nostalgia for something, you know, the old days. Who the hell would want to go back? And you're watching, and yeah, there's a certain amount of charm to it, but that
Mhm.
old black and white TV that was fuzzy, it was, you know, yeah, it was fun, it was charming, but I'm not going back to it. So, but yeah, I'll take the movie in the correct aspect ratio for one thing. So yeah, and coming up on that, I think we have we probably have talked this one down. So good choice though, Dom. This was fun. Anybody that hasn't
I
seen,
think it's a really fun movie, a complete visual spectacle.
yeah, yes, absolutely. Anyone that hasn't seen it, it's got. I'll give it two thumbs up. I mean, it's not a
I'll
great,
give it two thumbs up, but again, I don't know how much that's the movie and how much that's my nostalgia.
yeah, yeah. Well, there's definitely a certain amount of that. But again, I think it's a fun movie. For some people, it's probably going to be maybe a little slower than they're going to want.
Mhm.
It's
Although it's only clocks in at 84 minutes.
That's true. That's true. And the other thing is, um, it's not a great special effects film either. There's
This
very
is bare
little.
bones.
Yeah,
Other than the weird, like that ant
yeah,
film, that the ants they caught on camera,
yeah.
that was amazing. I'm willing to bet that's where a lot of the funding went.
Well, either that or they were using some kind of great stock footage that I don't know where it came from, but because they did a great job with some of the ant scenes, but again, it's a, you know, you don't see like the poster behind me with the ant coming out of the hand. You don't really like seeing that poster. You think to yourself, "Oh my God, this is going to be great. There's going to be ants crawling out of." You really don't see a whole lot of that. It's
It is not. I mean, the whole the day the Earth was turned into a cemetery. I'm
really
like, no, this is not that movie.
no, no, not at all. But again, like I said, I found it highly enjoyable. It's a trip back to a different period of filmmaking,
Mhm.
and one that I kind of miss. I do enjoy those. So yeah, I think we've kind of wrapped it up on this one, but yeah,
Your pick next week.
yep. And actually, we're coming up on Father's Day, so next week we're gonna my pick is gonna be something to do with Father's Day. However, it's probably going to be something a little bit either comedic or something off the wall, just because that's what we do. but but yeah, so just stay tuned, everybody. There'll be something more geared towards Father's Day. So that's Dom. I had a good time.
Always a fantastic time.
Yep. So I will see you here again next week, and let's do it up again.
See you in
And
a week.
all right, take care, bud.